We've just looked at how to find encyclopedias in Westlaw and Lexis. Now let's take a look at treatises. Treatises are secondary sources that are much more complex than a legal encyclopedia. Where a legal encyclopedia gives you a shallow dive, a treatise gives you that deep dive you may need to fully understand all the nuance the topic holds. But how do you find a treatise? And once you find one, how do you use it? Let's start with Lexis. To find a treatise, you often will already know the name of what you are looking for. We've seen this before when we looked for encyclopedias, that you can just start typing it in, and if Lexis has it, it will pop up. But what do you do if you don't know the name of a popular treatise? A great place to start is the Georgetown Treatise Finder. By searching for your topic, Georgetown has pulled together a list of the preeminent treatises in that area and tells you on which database you can find them. For instance, in contracts, Lexis has Corbin on Contracts, a well-known treatise in this area. You can see that it's listed as Lexis and that it's a preeminent treatise. Now you can grab the name of that treatise, go back to Lexis, and enter it in our search bar. If you haven't been given a treatise from which to start from, you may want to see all the treatises that Lexis has. You can head right to Treatises and Guides under Secondary Sources. From here, you can narrow your search by jurisdiction or by practice area. And last, you can go to your state and look for treatises specific to your area of law. Heading on over to Westlaw, you will notice that everything you were able to do in Lexis to find a treatise, you can also do in Westlaw. You can search by name, by typing it in if you know it. You can see all the treatises that West has by clicking on Secondary Sources, and then Texts and Treatises. After which, you can filter by jurisdiction or topic, and you can run a search. Let's go back to Lexis for a minute and see how you can use a treatise to find information on a specific issue. Let's put on our imagination hats for a second and say that our client is an owner of an amusement park where a recent injury occurred on a ride. Our client is worried about being sued and claims adamantly, "It's not my fault." Your partner wants you to look into it, and the first question you think of is that a proper defense? She asks you to take a look at the treatise Personal Injury, Actions, Defenses, and Damages to see what the law is in this area. Since we know the name of the treatise, we can head right there. The finding aids of a treatise are just like those in an encyclopedia. You can drill down through the table of contents, you can see what topics are covered in the index, or you can run a search. I like clicking on things, so let's dig through the table of contents. Scrolling down, I notice Chapter 5 on amusement places and devices. And Section 5.13 is Defenses, where I find a section on lack of fault. This is something I would want to look at, and I'd also probably write down some other sections to consider as well. If I weren't such a fan of clicking, I could also look through the index. Here, I can look through the alphabetically arranged topics, or I can run a search. Let's run the following search: amusement and park or ride and defense. Well, would you look at that? Bingo! Once within that topic, I find the section on lack of fault. Looking through the entry straight up tells me what the best defense is against a claim of this sort. It also gives me footnotes to cases. This is exactly what my partner asked for, but because I want to be thorough, I'm also going to take a look again at the table of contents for any other defenses I may want to let her know about. Now that you've had a chance to see this on Lexis, let's go practice in Westlaw.